Sam, the inflows and outflows out of
Well,
Binance, how do they look? Anyone? Yeah, go ahead. I think Dave, you were jumping in.
yeah, I mean, it's really that statistic can be as a base currency against all the other assets on their platform. So it's just like when you look at Bitcoin volume. Bitcoin volume is not what coin market cap says because you can trade a lot of other tokens on many exchanges with Bitcoin as a denominator. You really need to look at the numerator trades, and I don't think anybody breaks that out. So that's thing number one. It's really important to understand that because in crypto, in digital assets, and frankly, what assets will trade like in as we approach 20 years from now. I don't know when in the next 20 years, but I think all assets will trade in pairs. And so you need to look at the target currency or the target of the asset that you're looking at. So if you look at BNB, I was just doing some math. Right now, Binance on the order books, if you compare the order book on KuCoin, Bybit, OKEx, and Binance, both on the buy and the sell side of the market for a couple $1 million of BNB, Binance is about 2/3 of the liquidity, which is incredibly significant. Don't get me wrong, Travis is not wrong about that. Most of the bids and offers are there. The other thing that's interesting about the order book for $1 million or $2 million is it's reasonably symmetrical, not indicative of someone needing to push up the price. It's not like an underwriting situation. Now that said, obviously, in size, I think you'll find that the only bid in size is probably on Binance. I think Travis may very well be right there, but I have absolutely no data about that. The data and the order books are pretty consistent, and there's a fairly healthy data. As far as Travis's point about it being strange, I think there's probably truth to that, but the thing he cited is just a terrible fact for that argument. And that's because the vast majority of BNB is being used by people to hold BNB so they get the cheapest tier rates on Binance where all the institutions are trading. So
Well, my
important.
point was that there's not price discovery in BNB token outside of Binance. That was my point.
Okay.
So when I wake up in the morning and BNB token is whatever BNB's token's price is, and you go, how fair is that price? How real is that price relative to the price of Bitcoin, relative to the price of Ethereum?
Could I agree with you violently, but explain it in data, just for the audience might actually find it, because you're not wrong. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I want to make it really clear. If you look at the important point to me is Binance's market cap is very high relative to its market cap. The amount you could trade before you punch through the top of book liquidity is dramatically lower than other tokens.
Dramatically.
So $1 to $2 million you can do within 0.5% or so. You get to $10 million, it's 5%. To put that in perspective, in Bitcoin, we have clients at CoinRoutes who trade Bitcoin all day long. You want to trade 10, 20, $30 million, you're talking basis points. If you're smart about it, if you use the right algorithms. And even the order book is only, at $10 million is basically, less than 1%. Ether slightly less liquid than Bitcoin, but still Binance is an entire order of magnitude less liquid. And considering where it is, so Travis is not wrong, but I think that you need to understand that part of that is because of the dominance of Binance. Now, I personally think, just like in March of 2020, before March of 2020, BitMEX had 80% of the derivative volume, and then that is no longer true. And then FTX was becoming a reasonably large percentage derivative volume, and that's no longer true. I suspect that volumes will migrate to where people feel safer with their assets and with better technologies. But the truth is that the BNB token right now, a huge percentage of it is being used basically to get discounts on your Binance trading. And that is, however you want to look at that, there's value there. Now, the only question that I have for you, Travis, because I think it's a really important question, is where's the data that suggests that CZ has a hole in his balance sheet that he needs BNB to pledge as collateral elsewhere?
Because that was my next question as well, because that's a hell of a claim.
In the FTX world, Sam and company stole, lost, gambled away, whatever, $8 to $10 billion of dollar collateral, and then plugged the hole with manufactured FTT that wasn't being used by anybody that was from Treasury. And that's why when FTT collapsed, FTX collapsed, because it was accepted as good collateral. There is no version of the reality where any firm, including Binance's own, CZ's own trading firms, should be able to post BNB without a massive haircut because of what you said, Travis, to dollars. So if in fact BNB is being used as collateral, then that is a very, very large red flag. But the point that I'm making is it's if. And I don't know that answer. And I know you and Mike Alfred both believe that that's happening. And frankly, it's a serious accusation. And I am not saying you're wrong. Once again, I'm just curious, what do you know in terms of BNB's use as collateral? Because that's really the essence of the issue.
Yeah, no, the I think most people on this space know this. The point of my point of reference for this is as the 18th largest creditor in the FTX bankruptcy, had the large majority of our fund's assets that were on FTX at the time of collapse. Never in my wildest dreams would have thought that Sam Bankman-Fried would do what he did. The collapse happened the way it happened. We were right in the middle of it. And a few weeks later, I started looking at the setup with Changping and with BNB token and with Binance Smart Chain, all the weird stuff going on with Binance Smart Chain, inexplicable wallet movements, token creations. Nobody can get none of the blockchain forensics guys can get much of a handle on BSC. You look at Binance pegged BUSD, the weirdness that was going on there. And on December 9th, I wrote a tweet thread, got pretty good traction, said not trying to fear monger, but it has to be said. If you have assets on Binance or Binance US, take them all off now, don't wait. Also, if you're holding BUSD, you should sell that immediately. This is coming from a guy that lost a ton on FTX because I misjudged the exact same setup. And I said, I don't know how much hard evidence there is against Binance at this point, but I don't know how much hard evidence there was against FTX 6 days before its collapse either. That's my point. I can't put together some rock solid blockchain forensics wallet movement proof that Changping is using customer assets and that there's a hole in a balance sheet. I cannot do that right now, but nobody could have done that prior to the FTX collapse. So you just look at the magnitude of the smoke around this whole thing over the last 6-7 months, the allegations that have come out. Oh, as it turns out, BUSD did have $1 billion plus hole in its collateral multiple times over a multi-year period, to the point that Paxos fucking peaced out. Paxos is out. It's like more than half their business was that, and we can't do this anymore. Right. And then
the regulator had something to do with that, Travis. I mean, maybe you know or have more context, just to be clear, because obviously, I mean, they came after Paxos for BUSD, coincidentally not for USDP, which was Paxos' own stablecoin. But I'm not clear that Paxos decided to back out or whether they were forced out.
Okay. All right. Well, but it's not. Binance admitted to $1 billion+ collateral hole in Binance pegged BUSD. They admitted that. It's in a Bloomberg article with commentary from Binance.
Yeah, what does that? Yeah, I was gonna.
Well,
if you can explain, Travis, I'll let you.
You start to paint a picture. You start to paint a picture with all of this. Then you include the CFTC complaint. You include the SEC complaint, and you paint a picture of wildly commingled funds. It's just a big fucking slush fund back there, the exact same way that Sam Bankman-Fried was doing it at FTX. The exact same way. Like, there's just not good books and records and segregation, and there's a mountain of evidence that is piling up that is the case. A lot of smoke for no fire.
Yeah, I mean, look, Travis, I want to be really clear. I am not defending Binance here. I am not attacking them either. I'm just trying to understand. And so there are two big differences. First of all, Alameda lost a shit ton of money. And it was pretty clear that they lost a shit ton of money. We all understand it. And what you didn't know, what we didn't know, and look, I didn't lose money in anything serious.